Okay, Michael Sather, MLA for Maple Ridge Pit Meadows. I'm not going to talk too long because I know there are a lot of other people that want to speak. I had some technical questions, and I've had a go at you folks before, a few more meetings that we've been to. This is the third one for me. And so I'm not going to say all of the things that I've said before, except to repeat that a couple of things. First of all, I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Katzie First Nation here in Pitt Meadows. And the Katzie are renowned in our community for their cooperativeness and their willingness to engage the community. And all of us in the community are very thankful and happy that we have had this relationship these many years. I do want to repeat, however, that I have invited the Minister of Environment to these meetings on 2 occasions in the House. I've also asked him at these meetings to attend, and I guess he hasn't been able to, although the legislature's not sitting tonight, but nevertheless, I did ask the Leader of the Opposition, Carol James, to come and attend, and she has, and I'm very happy for that. Because it's, you know, when you're in Victoria, it's a world apart from being with the real people, and politicians need to come out and need to talk to people face to face like this in meetings. It's very important to make that connection again, and to make it real that we have people that are, you know, we actually have real people there, not just mandarins or mannequins. A couple questions more on the technical end of things. First of all, though, I do want to make a point. Folks will have seen in the presentation, it was said that the power line through Steve Creek Pass is not where the wetland is, but it's very, very close. It's a very narrow route. But on the question, on the issue of critical habitat, I wanted to bring up and ask you a question on this. In the reports that you've done, the impact assessment, you said that route selection considerations included avoiding significant wildlife habitat features. However, field studies did not locate any critical wildlife habitats. But if I look elsewhere in your other report, Appendix B, the baseline ecological assessment that you mentioned earlier, there's some contradictory statements. It says the large open fen wetland occupies most of the valley bottom on the Steve Creek side of the proposed transmission route. And that's true. And for those of you that were able to see the map, you'll see that wetland continues into Burke Mountain, Pinecombe Burke Park as well. The other point that I wanted to make from the same report is that you said the draft management plan background report for Pinecombe Burke Provincial Park indicates that subalpine wetland habitats in the Steve and Pinecombe Creek watersheds may provide valuable spring-summer forage habitat for grizzly bear, and that spring-summer forage is a limiting factor for grizzly bear conservation in the Pitt River watershed. So, given that, I fail to see how you could say that you did not locate any critical wildlife habitat when we know that there's critical habitat there for grizzlies. So if you could respond to that. And then I have one question on the fish.
Thanks for your question. I guess it's a matter of understanding how the term critical habitat was used. It says that in the word when we talk about critical habitats, we're talking about things such as nests and dams that would have to be avoided. It's recognized that important habitat. It's also recognized that the summer forage habitat under the transmission line would continue to function in that manner.
All right. It says, of course, in the background report that it is critical and limiting habitat. The other question I wanted to ask you folks again, and this is a repeat because I didn't get an answer last time, and it has to do with the on all the projects, all the rivers up there, the weir or dam that you're going to make, and the head pond that, or dam, the impoundment that's behind that. Because there's a concern, as you know, about affecting the habitat for fish in terms of gravel and rock recruitment, which is fish habitat, and the large woody debris, which is also fish habitat. Last time in Mission you said, well, the pond will fill up with gravel, and then everything, even rocks the size of a small Volkswagen, will go over the weir. So again, this confuses me because the head pond is to keep your intake covered with water, right? So if you have it filled up with gravel, I can't see in any way that it's going to take water in. So I asked you last time if you're going to have a backhoe or heavy equipment in there to remove that gravel, and I didn't get a definitive answer on that. So could you please respond to that?
Stand up.
The way, actually, the purpose of the head pond is not to store water, it's to make it so that it has a laminar flow over the lip and into the Coena stream. So the intake of the water is actually on the downstream side of the weir, and so bedload material that's stored on the upstream side of the weir does not affect the intake function.
So are you saying that you will not be removing gravel with a backhoe from those projects?
The second part of your question, I asked an engineer about that, and this is the kind of thing that will be addressed in detail in the application, but what he told me was it depends on site specifically how much material comes into that intake, into that head pond, and whether or not it affects the function of the intake weir. And the information that he told me was basically that it is site specific. In some cases, they can go for 5-10 years and not have to have any material removed. In other cases, they do. So that's something that will be addressed in detail in the application.
The answer is yes, I guess. But I want to be one more thing. Did Dan Garrick, who runs the lodge up there, as you folks know, tells me that you folks told him that you would indeed have backhoes up there on a permanent basis. You're not going to take them away and leave them. And in fact, you would be providing a job for him. Is that true? Was that said? Nobody knows. I rest my case.